I'd like to start out this video by saying that it is very rare for a developer to create a companion character whom I like and care about more than their respective game's protagonist. A few examples of this would be Alex Vance from Half-Life 2 and its episodes, one or two squad mates from the Mass Effect series, Clementine from Telltale's The Walking Dead, and I'll assume that Corporal Fuzzypaws from this year's Call of Duty Ghosts will be a future addition to this list. Naughty Dog have not only created a character who I include in this list, but who to me now serves as the best example I can give for this kind of feat. I'm not a big fan of sweeping statements like this, but I'm going to make an exception to say that Ellie is my favourite video game character of all time. As with pretty much everyone in The Last of Us, Ellie's story is an incredibly tragic one. She was born into an apocalypse with no experience of what the world was like before nature and the cordyceps took over. Her parents are nowhere to be seen, with at least one of them being confirmed dead by the end of the game. She was infected, along with her best friend, but denied the same release into insanity through what she considers to be an extremely cruel twist of fate. And then she's carted about from one person to another as a supposed vessel for the hope of humanity. We don't know all of this at the beginning of the game, and instead gradually learn about Ellie's experiences through various conversations with Joel as their trust in each other grows and their journey draws closer to its end. Putting the player in the position of Joel, tasked with protecting her at all costs, is a part of what makes Ellie's development as a character interesting. We get to see it from his point of view, someone who comes to care about her just as many players come to as well. I made sure to take part in as many of the optional conversations and actions with her as I could, even feeling bad when she pointed something out when I wasn't paying attention to her, only for her to then quietly say that it wasn't important anyway. Other moments, like when she tries whistling and fails, only for her to later on in the game happily figure it out.
I'm whistling!
Oh, good. Something else you can drive me crazy with.
That's...
Or when she offered up a high five on the dam. I was smiling right up until we went down a slope towards a child's grave and she started wanting to talk about Sam's death, and if anything, I was relieved when Joel made her stop. These little moments were as important as the game's cutscenes in telling her story. Without them, the contrast between happy-go-lucky Ellie we see at the beginning of the summer and spring Ellie wouldn't be quite so steep. Just as Joel's indifferent attitude towards her at the beginning of the game wouldn't transition to him torturing and brutally murdering people to find and protect her quite as effectively.
She's alive. She's David's newest pet.
Where?
In the town. In the town.
One other fascinating thing about Ellie is how she views and reacts to the world around her. She doesn't see the world as we see it now, only aged 20 years and overtaken by plant life and animals. She sees the world as she's always known it. Things we see as everyday parts of life, she finds amazing or outright bizarre.
Oh, this is an ice cream truck.
An ice cream truck?
Yeah, Henry told me about these. They sell ice cream out of the truck.
What? No way. Joel?
That's true. This thing would drive around and play real loud, creepy music, and kids would come running out to buy ice cream.
You're totally fucking with me.
Serious.
Man, you lived in a strange time.
Told you so.
During summer, when Joel and Ellie are travelling with Henry and Sam, Ellie tells Sam that her biggest fear is dying alone. A short interaction that didn't seem out of the ordinary, many people including myself share this fear. It later becomes more relevant and her and Joel's dynamic begins to shift to a more mutually appreciative one. When Joel later tries to hand her off to Tommy's group in the fall, because he feels he needs to and is probably feeling in the back of his mind like he doesn't want to go through the motions of losing his daughter Sarah again, Ellie steals a horse and rides off to a nearby house, feeling abandoned. To me, this entire sequence is one of the more potent sections of the game, and it's from here on out we start to see Joel treat Ellie more and more like a surrogate for Sarah, even after explicitly telling Ellie that she isn't his daughter.
Not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
Arguably, Ellie's most important part of the story takes place during winter. As the player, we are initially led to believe that after the events that took place at the University of Eastern Colorado, Ellie failed to bring Joel back to health and he died. We soon find out this isn't the case, but this misdirection is caused simply by giving us control of Ellie, a move I was more than fine with, being such a fan of the character. Through the next few sequences, Ellie is shown to be able to handle herself very well and is very untrusting of the strangers she meets. And while I did miss the interactions between Joel and Ellie from the previous sections of the game, Winter was in my opinion by far the strongest segment. This is due in part to the inclusion of David, a character who at times genuinely terrified me. What was surprising about this is the fact that he's played by Nolan North. I pride myself on being able to spot voice actors with relative ease, and whenever I hear Nolan's voice pop up in a game that isn't Uncharted, it tends to take me out of the moment a bit. In this case, however, when David started speaking, while I still noticed it was Nolan almost straight away, I was far too busy having the same gut feeling that Ellie did to care. I didn't trust this new character and I didn't like him. David was acted incredibly well, and while I hated him, he provided the fuel for what was to me the most emotionally draining, as well as the most important scene in the game for Ellie.
You can try begging.
Fuck you.
You think you know me? Huh? Well, let me tell you something. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Ellie! Stop! Stop!
Fucking touch me!
It's okay. It's me. It's me. It's me. Look. It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay.
Joel.
It's okay.
While on the subject of acting, I should talk about Ashley Johnson. Before having played The Last of Us, I knew who she was, I'd met her once at an event, and I was a fan of her work, but I didn't know quite how talented an actress she was.
I get it.
She displayed this in full while playing Ellie, and I expect her to win a number of awards for her performance. Troy Baker was equally amazing, but this video isn't titled Joel. In closing, I feel I should say that I always expect good writing and acting from Naughty Dog games, but I haven't ever really expected anything groundbreaking in terms of characterization. So if my expectations of the game itself were blown out of the water, then my expectations for Ellie as a character were blown straight into orbit. She is as integral to the entire experience of The Last of Us as Joel is, and is in my opinion even more so. Thank you for watching, and please let me know what you think.
Okay.